Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to So How Does That Make You Feel? My name is Kyle Summers, back with another video on another way to help you identify a better version of yourself. Today's video is all about anxiety. What is anxiety, and how do we learn how to manage it? So, you may have noticed that I said manage, not eliminate. The reason for that was very specific in that it's not something that you can eliminate. The reason for that is because it's absolutely necessary that you and everybody else, including myself, experiences anxiety. Reason for that, if you think about your very existence, why you're here and able to watch this video, is because your parents and their parents and the parents before them, they lived long enough to reproduce. And fear, anxiety, helps us stay safe. It's nothing more than your brain's interpretation of some kind of real or imagined danger, and it sends a signal to your nervous system to be prepared. The whole fight or flight. So what exactly is the fight or flight? You've all heard about it. So physiologically speaking, your heart's going to beat. Okay, your heart's going to beat much, much faster. Reason for that is it's going to put blood where blood needs to be at. It's going to put it in your hands so you can fight, and it's going to put it in your feet and your legs so that you can run fast and get away from danger. In addition to that, your body's going to get a big burst of adrenaline. And so this adrenaline is very useful because now you can do much more things physically than you could before. So your brain is registering the same kind of response to your body, whether it was a bear that was about to attack you or you're about to give a speech in front of a large group of people. It is literally the same process your body's going to go to, whereas when you're about to give a speech, you can't really just run away from that. You may want to, but you can't. And that is in essence what anxiety is. It's something that we all experience it. As I'm talking to you right now, internally inside myself, I'm feeling anxious. This is probably the sixth different time I've shot this, and I had to reconcile what it was that was going through my head because I wanted it to be perfect. And then I got to a certain point where I was being too critical, and the anxiety of how it would be received by you, the viewer, was getting to me, and it was impacting my ability just to be me and talk a little bit about anxiety, which is a topic that I talk about on a day-to-day basis with the people I work with, and it's something that I personally experience myself. And so I'll have conversations in my head all the time on little things that help me just kind of stay calm and work through the anxiety. So that's what anxiety is. Like I said, we all experience it and we all have it to a certain degree. The difference between someone who experiences anxiety on a day-to-day basis and someone who has, say, an anxiety disorder is the word excessive. So excessive amounts. So what is excessive? And the second part is how much does it impact your day-to-day life? So if it's impacting your role at your job, or it's impacting with your relationships, if it's impacting your ability to go out and have any kind of meaningful social interaction, then it's definitely very excessive and is very negatively impactful on your life. And so in both instances, the reason for the fear is some kind of belief in your head that is looking at something and registering that as dangerous. And it could be a number of different reasons why that belief is there. It could be something that you were born with kind of a predisposition to be afraid of. It could be something that you've learned, could be a combination of the two, but either way, there's a belief in your head of what that represents to you, and that is something that could hurt you in some way. And so my first tip in order to better manage your anxiety is to not fight it. So you might be thinking, well, that sounds counterintuitive, because if I don't like something, I should change it. If I have a headache, take an ibuprofen. Yeah, anxiety doesn't work like that. The more you try to fight anxiety and you try to just eliminate it quickly, what you're actually doing is you're actually making it worse. Maybe not in the short term, but in the long term, the anxiety will get worse. And sometimes it can even grow and manifest itself into other things. So take, for example, someone who was in a serious car accident. Okay, so it's pretty obvious to see how they may have a significant amount of anxiety in terms of when they would drive in a car. And so let's say they begin avoiding that because to face that fear is too much for them, so they're going to fight it and they're going to resist it. And so they're okay riding in a car until they notice that anxiety come back, and then they say, oh, I can't even ride in a car because just being in a car right now just sends my body into this extreme uncomfortable state, and it's just not tolerable. That anxiety can continue to manifest itself to the point to where watching shows about different car scenes, maybe with a similar car, year, make, model, whatever, or even the time of day. So let's say this particular car accident happened at nighttime. Now they begin to notice that they begin to have a significant amount of anxiety just in the evening time. And the reason I say don't fight it is because you've got to understand what it is about this thing that's triggering so much anxiety in you, that's causing you to experience it. If you don't understand it, you won't be able to do anything about it. And so don't fight it. Allow yourself to experience it. Even make a mind-body connection. So ask yourself, where do I feel it at? Do I feel it in my chest? Do I feel it in my shoulders? Do I feel it in my head? Maybe my stomach? Where do you feel it? Because allowing yourself to connect the two, one, allows you to experience it even longer, and two, allows you to be more in tune with your body when you're experiencing anxiety. The other reason I say not to fight it is because when in our mind, just our belief about something that we would fight is something that we don't like. And something that we don't like represents bad. And just the belief of experiencing anxiety, we can have a negative association that it's not okay. Especially for you guys, trust me. I know, I'm a guy, and we may associate the act of showing fear as weakness. Anybody who's doing that, stop it. All right, we all experience it. All right, myself, you, everybody you know, we all experience it. And if you're trying to convince yourself or others that you don't experience it, chances are there's some kind of underlying fear as to why it is that you feel like you need to do that. Okay, so don't fight it. Allow yourself to experience it, and then when you get comfortable just experiencing it, just being comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you can do that, then you can ask yourself, what is it about this that is causing me to feel anxiety? That question could take you down a rabbit hole of a number of different directions. It's all about self-understanding and just kind of exploring what these different things may represent to us. It may be very obvious, like the example earlier about public speaking. I know for me personally, it was the fear of making a mistake. And once I began to recognize that what was causing so much physiological arousal when I would give speeches is that I was fearful of making a mistake, I could begin to reconcile that, and that there's no such thing as a flawless anything. You know, it's just an ideal, this whole pursuit of perfection that a lot of us have. And I was able to manage that and work on that and accept myself as someone who's flawed and capable of making mistakes. Just like I have with this video that you're watching right now and the 6 versions that I couldn't get right earlier. So you ask yourself this question: what is it about this that, for me, is so troubling that I'm reacting in such a way? What does it represent to me? What does it mean? What about this is causing my anxiety? A number of different ways you can ask yourself. Either way, the question's got to be in a way for you to explore further. Okay? And then, again, those are the 2 necessary things. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Lay your arms down. It's not worth the fight. It's going to get you nowhere in terms of better managing it. And 2, ask yourself, what is it that is causing me to react this way about this thing? Once you allow yourself to experience it, and then once you allow yourself to ask this question, you can begin to create a new story in your head about this. And the more you experience it, the more you begin to realize that the kind of scenario you played out in your head of what could happen, you realize won't. Or at least not to the extent. And even if it does happen to that extent, you'll realize that you're okay. Because you are. Alright? So I hope you found that helpful in talking about anxiety. If you did, hey, I love it if you gave me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for future notifications. And so that way you can catch new content. I'll post videos about once or twice every week. And yeah, all about trying to help you find a better version of yourself. So again, guys, thank you. You have a great night.